get started, you want to take your first colour and make a slip knot. And then you want to insert your knitting needle. And then you want to cast on multiples of 4 using whatever cast on method you normally use. And once you've done, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now I'm going to work my second row, and I'm sticking with regular needles here rather than moving over to double pointed needles. And the only reason for that is that I have a bad habit on double pointed needles. When I'm doing purl stitches, I somehow manage to end up adding extra stitches. So I just stick with the regular needles for the first part of this. So you want to knit 2 and purl 2 all the way to the end of the row. Once you've completed your first rows, it should look something like this. So now you can attach your second colour. So if you haven't already, you can switch over to your double pointed needles here. So insert your needle into the first loop. And then take your second colour and put it over the needle. And then just to keep things in place, if you don't want it just pulling through by accident, you can just tie a temporary knot here. Then you can start working your knit stitches as normal. And divide them roughly into 3 or 4 if you're using 4 needles. I'm just doing 3. And once you've used all your needles, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now I'm just going to take this tail end and I'm going to use a crochet hook to just pull it through the other side of the band. And once that's through, I'm just going to tie another temporary knot, and I'm just doing this to try and prevent that ladder effect that you sometimes get at the beginning. This might not affect everybody, and if it doesn't affect you, then don't do it. But for me, I do find that sometimes my first couple of stitches are a bit loose. So move your second colour out of the way. I'm leaving it attached here. Again, if you don't want to, you don't have to, but I find it's a little bit easier that way. Then you can start working your next knit row, and you're going to knit all the stitches in the round here. And once you've done your first 4 rows, it should look something like this. And this is where it comes in handy if you've got both yarns attached at the back. So you can take the first colour that you use and just drop the second colour that you've just been using. And just make sure that everything's tidy and not tangled up at the back. And then you can once again work your knit rows as you did before, just using the new colour. And for this one I'm just doing 2 rows. And once you've done your first round, it should look something like this, and then you can continue and do a second round in the same colour. And once you finish the second row of your first stripe, it should look something like this. So now you can drop that colour and go back to the other colour. So once again, you're going to be doing the knit stitch for the next round, and you're going to be doing this for another 4 rows. After your 4 rows, you can see that the first stripe you did is much more visible. So you want to repeat what you did last time and drop your old colour and then pick up your other colour. And again, you're going to knit all the way around. So you can see it looks the same as it did for your last colour change. So once again, you just want to do your second row in the same colour. So it should end up looking like this. And then you want to switch colours again. So I'm going to take my other colour and then I'm going to knit all the way around for the next row. So now I've completed this colour change, I want to add a stitch at the beginning of each row. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to work into the back and front of each stitch at the beginning. There are different ways of doing increases. You can do them how you want. I'm just doing this one because it's reasonably simple. So I'm going to yarn over at the back of the stitch, but then instead of dropping the loop off my needle, I'm going to work into the front of it as normal. This has created an extra loop. So now I can drop that one off the needle, and I've got 2 loops on the needle. So I'm going to repeat this increase method for the second round. So yarning over from the back, and then working a knit stitch as normal in the front, and then dropping that loop to create the 2 stitches. And I'm going to do this for 10 rows in total. And once you've done your 10 rows, you want to cast off those 10 stitches. So to do this, I'm using a method that makes the cast off edge a little bit stretchier, and it's where you basically rotate the needle once you've knit your first stitch. So you're rotating it clockwise for a knit stitch, and then knit your second stitch, and then pull your first stitch over the second stitch. And then once again you want to rotate your needle clockwise, and then repeat what you did before, pulling the stitch over to cast it off, and do this until you've cast off 10 stitches. So next you want to close the thumb gap, and to do this I'm switching the position of 2 stitches, but it might be easier to just knit 2 together here. And then you want to knit the round as normal. And once you've closed your thumb gap, you want to continue as normal for 10 rows. So once you've done those rows, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now the thing that you want to worry about is the curling edge. So to avoid this, I'm going to do a little bit of a band edge at the end instead, and I'm going to do knit 2, purl 2. So like you did at the beginning, you want to knit your first 2 stitches, and then purl the next 2. And then repeat this to the end of the round. That's how your first row should look. So I'm going to repeat this for a second row. So once again, it's just going to be knit 2, purl 2 until the end of the round. Once you've done those 2 rows, it should end up looking something like this. So now you just want to cast off. And I'm going to use the same method to cast off that I did on the thumb, just so they match, but you can match up whatever method you prefer to use if you don't want to use this one. So once again, just rotating the needle. You can do it the other way around for the purl stitch if you want, but I just decided to do it the exact same way that I'd done for the thumb. Once you're left with only one stitch on the needle, you can fasten off in whatever way you normally use. I'm going to use a crochet hook here. So I'm going to insert the crochet hook to the beginning of the round, pull through a loop, pull through, then cut the yarn, and then pull through to fasten off. So to finish off your glove, you want to turn it inside out, and then if you need to, seam the band, and if not, just weave in any tail ends. But once you're happy that your tail ends are hidden, you can snip off the ends. And just repeat this for any that you have left over. And once you're finished, you should end up with something that looks like this. Perfect for that little Gryffindor in your life.